Hi, Triple G here with Self-Defense Offense Channel, video 11, and we're going to be covering children and child sexual abuse. So the first thing I want to talk about is you need to teach your children how to protect themselves, just like you're being taught. Teach them. All right, so you're going to teach them the same thing. Throat, eyes, okay, groin. But the problem is, if you got a big guy and a little 5-year-old, that's a huge difference. So you're going to have to teach them maybe in a little bit different way. Kicking, all right? And I'm going to talk about somebody coming up and grabbing them and throwing them in the car. Okay, so you need to go through that with them. And you maybe even can have a aunt or uncle, or not an aunt, but an uncle or somebody else that's a bigger, and come up and do it and say, what would you do? He needs that practice too. So what would you do? All right, so one videos I saw was, it kind of looked like New York City, and it had a little girl, it's a 5-year-old girl, and I think it was about a 2.5, 3-year-old brother that she was holding on to hands. They were walking down the street alone. I don't know why they were alone. This happened a couple years ago, so it still wasn't safe. It's still not safe. I mean, it will never be safe to have your kids out playing outside in the front yard like we did. It's a different world out there. More unstable people and more perverts. Stalking schools. I mean, we've had several here in the last couple years of guys wanting to pick up girls. So watch your kids and keep them protected too by empowering them. So they can learn target points, but if they're grabbed from behind, kick and flail. This girl was grabbed from behind and was going to be thrown in the car, and this girl starts screaming and she's flailing and she's kicking him really fast and she's flailing and she is going to town. He sets her down. Too much of a problem, not compliant. Compliant children, this is hard for compliant children and quiet children, so you really need to teach them, and they need to probably practice more than the little feisty ones. So teach them, sit them down, talk to them about good touch, bad touch, good secrets, bad secrets, good secrets. We're going to surprise mommy, don't tell her. Those are good secrets because they're fun and they benefit somebody. Okay, bad secrets would be, don't you tell anybody I did this, okay, or you did this, or I'm going to blame you. Okay, they like to throw the guilt on the child. And so there's all kinds of scenarios. Look them up, look up different scenarios, how they entice your child into the car. You want to see my puppies? Oh, you help me, puppy, I lost my puppy. You want some candy? Oh, video game for you. You just got to tell them everything that somebody offers. They're trying to entice you to get you closer to their car. The good secrets and bad secrets. Good touch, bad touch. Use specific names. Don't use Winky, use penis. Okay? Use specific names that they understand. They should already understand those names. But don't use cliche names, please. Because you're serious about this. And if they can all, hit this way, go up, if they're that level, go up to their crotch and get them in the groin. You teach them different things that they might be able to do. But they need to be taught. They need to be taught good secrets and bad secrets, good touch, bad touch, and exactly what those are. Don't just say good, there's good touch and bad touch and leave it at that. Okay. Now, this pediatrician lays out, she wrote an article, and it was on Facebook, and now it's just kind of populated. So, it says, without going into graphic details, I probably get 1 to 2 kids a month in my office who have been sexually abused or molested. Ugh, breaks my heart. I will address each one of these things that I mentioned above in light of the most common scenarios I've seen. 1 to 2 kids a month? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's bad. 1, the location of the incident of sexual abuse is likely to be a place where you're familiar with. Home, school, church, neighbors. Places where I've heard of this happening. Known family members and friends are far and away the most common. The perpetrators' ages ranging between teens to adults. It is usually a male cousin, known neighbor, friend's older brother or cousin, babysitter, father, stepfather, uncle, or mom's boyfriend. Occasionally it's a female, but it's very rare unless she's grooming the kids to have access to someone else. Church youth group is a number 2 location, usually because there is a less supervision. School camp and sports are other locations, but less likely unless there are kids allowed to be alone with teachers and coaches. Ask the schools and coaches and churches what their safety plans are to protect kids. It's never perfect, but I feel at least they know that there are aware parents, and it helps to keep everybody accountable. Number 2 place, slumber parties. I wanted to address this separately because of it being a sensitive subject. Sensitive meaning, I want to go to the slumber party. Oh, you're a mean mom if you don't let me go. I heard that before. My daughter's allowed to go to a select few friends' homes, like about 5 families, for sleepovers. Never parents that I don't know extremely well, which means she doesn't get to sleep over at a school friend's home. Never large groups of kids where one kid being separated might not be noticed. That said, I can tell you how many times patients tell me that their first time that they were touched inappropriately or the first time they saw pornography was during a sleepover. I only get one chance to raise my kids, and I'd rather be a mean parent who is no fun than have the other possibility. Now, I can think of incidences, and this was, 35 years ago, that one reputable person, male, and would give girls rides home, from church or whatever, and he would touch them. And who knows how many he touched before somebody actually said something. The problem is, you know what the other problem is? And that brings it up here. The parents don't believe him. That's sad. So be a mean mom. It's okay to say no to your children to keep them safe. Please use appropriate anatomical terms for body parts. Eyes are eyes, knees are knees, penises are penises. Don't use cutesy names or vague names like booty or wee-wee or cookie or treasure. It confuses the matter in case something needs to be reported. It also destigmatizes those body parts. We want to keep those body parts innocent. 4, safe touch versus bad touch. Make sure kids know which is which. Safe touches, I usually teach the ones that are in areas not covered by your bathing suit, like shoulders, head, feet. Safe touches are those that make you feel calm and safe, like a hug from your mom. Bad touches are those areas that are covered up by underwear. They are the ones that make you feel nervous, scared, or worried. Everybody has an instinct, okay, of someone's hand going up your leg, okay? Everybody has that instinct. If a bigger person is touching you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that is bad touch. Always tell your parents or other adults about bad touches and let kids know there should never be any secrets between kids and adults, unless it's a surprise for mommy. And they will never get in trouble for telling someone. Or it's Christmas time, and like I said, they're getting gifts or they're surprising somebody with dinner. That's a surprise. That's a good thing because it benefits somebody else, and there's no good or bad touch involved, or bad secrets. So children are very afraid to tell because they're afraid they're going to be in trouble, and they have to understand before they get touched that they're not going to be in trouble if they tell. You will not be in trouble, and that man is nobody's going to hurt you. They have to be protected, protect their bodies and their minds. Stranger danger is a fallacy. The vast majority of the time, someone who molests a child is known to the family. Beware of so-called grooming behaviors. This is usually from an adult male who initiates or integrates themselves into the child and family lives to lower their defenses. Usually they will try to establish a trusting relationship with the family and seek opportunities to be alone with the kids. They do this so that the accusations from the child will be made up. You just made that up. You're just mad. You just made that up. This has happened in almost every situation she has seen, that the parents don't believe them because they like Uncle Joe, and Uncle Joe could do nothing wrong. Believe your children, please. This is not something that they're probably going to make stories up, all right? The other thing is, when then call the police. They probably have already touched several other people, several other children, so this is not the first time you've done this. Be aware of what kids are looking at on smartphones and tablets, especially from their friends whose parents may not monitor things so closely. I usually tell parents that every preteen and above well check that as long as they are paying the phone and the kid is under 18, it's their responsibility to monitor their child's activities in social media. And yes, that means spy on them. You're going to spy on their texting, you're going to spy on their Facebook, you're going to be spying on them. Yes. Any kind of other social media. And they don't really need to have other social media. They don't even need to have Facebook. They don't need to have a cell phone. The dangers of cell phones are far too risky. I've seen, the 5th grader had a cell phone and the 2nd grader had a cell phone in the family. Why does the 2nd grader need a cell phone and a smartphone to boot? So she can play games. No. The answer is no. No, because I'm the parent. Why? I'm the parent. Okay. We all have in situations where you just want to be polite, even when someone is giving us the heebie-jeebies. This is a great book called The Gift of Fear. I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, Musad Abode, that talks about people forgetting to trust their intuition in potentially dangerous situations, and that's why there are times when you need to listen to that spirit of discernment. I don't lock up my kids and throw away the key, as much as I would love to protect them forever. But these are hopefully some practical tips as a mom and a pediatrician to make your kids feel safe and to highlight some potentially dangerous situations. By the way, to start this conversation at 3 and 4 years old in our house, her house. So now, I'm going to go back to cell phones. There's so many really clever ways for kids to hide their activity online, and parents always fall behind the 8 ball. Why is that? Because they're not up to date on everything. Get up to date. See what your kids are looking at. And why are they getting apps? They must have your password. No, you don't need any extra apps. If you need to make a phone call, use it for emergency purposes. We had a flip phone back in the day, because that was before smartphones, but I would give my child a flip phone. They could text, but they can't do any apps. There's all kinds of secret apps. It's so dangerous out there. You need to look up that dangerous apps for kids. You can look up teenagers, how to hide things. How do teenagers hide things on their cell phone? Look up those articles. You need to do your homework. You're a parent. You're there to protect them. They know not what they do or how dangerous some things are. I can't tell you how many kids get trapped in the Facebook because they're lonely, they maybe feel the odd man out at school like most kids do, just don't admit it. All right, they may not have very many friends, so they get online and somebody comes in and befriends them, a guy, and then they hook up because they love each other. It's sad. It's really sad. So you've got to keep an eye on your child's emails, all kinds of social media, especially nowadays. It's so dangerous out there. So enough about children. My time is up, and I really, really want you to think about teaching them safe touch, good touch, bad touch, surprises, secrets, good secrets, bad secrets, and stay safe. Keep your kids safe too.